Hello, Franklin residents. Welcome to the 2024 edition of the Memorial Day Parade. As you can see, we've got a big procession here for the parade today, which was almost threatened by some rain earlier in the day. But thankfully, Mother Nature decided to let the rain hold off. So we've got a nice overcast day here on Main Street. And what you're seeing right now is the start of what is known as the first wave of the parade, which is being led by the Franklin Police Department cruiser that you see up in the front. The music that you're hearing in the distant background, fairly distant background, is actually the Franklin High School Band, who will be walking by us momentarily. What's happening right now is the parade has started off on Dean Avenue and is marching its way down Main Street and will be stopping in front of the main entrance to Dean College. Where members of the American Legion Post 75 Color Guard as well as the Legion Post 75 Rifle Team will be walking onto the college campus and have a small ceremony at the memorial in front of Dean Hall. So this will mark the first stop for the parade. And what we'll be seeing in front of Dean Hall will be done in a fairly similar fashion at the Union Street and St. Mary's cemeteries. So the Post 75 Color Guard and Rifle Teams along with a few Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops making their way to the memorial at the end of this walkway. And we can hear the high school band off in the distance. And off to the right of the memorial there is the Rabbi of Temple Eitz Chaim, Tom Alpert. So we can see the Boys and Girl Scouts gathering together in front of the memorial. Color Guard and Rifle Team are behind the memorial. As John Milo of the Franklin Legion Post 75 gets some procedural issues taken care of. We've got the color guard moving to in front of the memorial. again, a couple of minor procedural issues being taken care of. And now, the words of the Rabbi Tom Albert.
In the words of my tradition, El Hadin, God of justice, help us as we honor the memories of these members of our armed forces who protected the America we are proud of, who devoted themselves to the principles of fairness, liberty, and equality that light the world. As they acted to ensure the right, may you help us to remember them with the merit they have earned. El Harachamim, God of compassion, guide us as we watch over the world they fought to preserve, the world they fought to bring about. Aid us as we look after each other, for they have looked after us. Be with us as we pick up the torch that they have handed to us. And let us, God, be your partners in the work of the repair of the world, just as they were through their lives and their deeds. Amen.
After the words of Tom Albert, we're going to see the Girl Scouts placing a ceremonial wreath in front of the War Memorial. And this will be followed by the Post 75 rifle team. So as the group makes their way back out onto Main Street from the Dean College campus, they'll be able to get back underway with the actions of the parade. And again, the Post 75 color guard, which you see here, as well as the rifle team directly behind them. All part of what's known as the first wave of this parade. Behind the rifle team are the VFW Post 3402 service flags, as well as the Boy Scout Troop 99, known as the Brass Team, and a Girl Scout troop known as the Wreath Team. And those are the children that you see here. Following the Girl Scout Wreath Team will be, as you see here, the Franklin High School Band. Which is led by high school band director Leanne Rudsit. Anyone who's been to a high school concert in recent months will know that this group is excellent. Ooh, a little bit of dance movement here. Percussion doing their thing in the back of the group. So following the high school band is the Knights of Columbus, Sacred Heart Council 1847. With a couple of flags behind them. Following that small group is going to be the Memorial Day Parade Grand Marshal, who this year is going to be Rose Turco. Franklin resident and longtime advocate of many local causes for both public school and veterans. And she is being driven around by Joe Landry, a favorite on the Franklin History Circuit. Following Rose Turco was going to be the Horace Mann Middle School Band, who is under the direction of Nicole Wright. Following the Horace Mann Middle School Band is going to be the Franklin Fire Department. As we have a little pause in the action here. These momentary pauses in the action can happen at these parades. And it looks like we're back to moving. So the Franklin Fire Department is led by Fire Chief James McLaughlin, which is right smack in the middle of that line of officers there. And you can see we've got a line of fire trucks here. Rescue truck right here. Fire engine number 2. Rescue 1 here. Tower 1 here. Another view of engine 2. Ambulance number 1 here. And engine number 1 here. And here we've got a car driving a veteran in the passenger side. And we're going to have a few of those between the Franklin Fire Department and the next instrumental musical group to show up. More Franklin veterans here. Onlookers thanking them for their service. This yellow car, I believe, is the last veteran to be shown here. Second to last one, my mistake. Third to last one. Sounds like this truck will be, looks like this truck will be the last vehicle with veterans before the next group, which is going to be the Remington Middle School Band, which is under the direction of Mickey Ireland. As they take a temporary stop in front of Dean College. And like the other school groups in this parade, they sound incredible. And following the Remington Middle School Band, we will have a number of Girl Scout troops. At least a half a dozen, if not more, Girl Scout troops as part of this parade. Participants from all over town. So you can see this section of the troops is paused for a second. They all start moving again. And this group of musicians that you hear in front, behind I should say, this group of soldiers here is going to be the Ben Franklin Classical Charter School. Doing some acrobatics with their flags. Something that's fun to see. Here we've got the Franklin Elks. As another temporary pause in the action. It's going to occur almost in front of the Franklin Library. But after the Franklin Elks, we are going to have a number of Boy Scout troops. Boy Scout of America troops, as well as CS Pac 92, and they are going to be followed, as you saw right there, by the Annie Sullivan Middle School Band, led by band teacher Sean Donnelly. The last of the Franklin Public School bands to be participating in the parade. And like their fellow middle school bands, they sound great. And so the third wave of the parade is going to be finished up by the Franklin Police Cruiser, which you see right here. So this is going to do it for our coverage of the parade. We'll be back in a few minutes for the start of the ceremony that's going to be happening on the Franklin Town Common. Stay tuned.
Welcome to our 2024 Memorial Day commemoration. If everyone could please be silent, we will open our ceremony by raising the American flag and military flags. This will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, the playing of the national anthem by the Franklin High School Band, and the invocation. Veterans may render the hand salute during the national anthem. Please stand if you are able. Veteran Collins, raise the colors. Scouts, raise the military colors.
Friends, neighbors, and fellow veterans, please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the quiet sanctuaries of our own hearts, let each of us name and call on the one whose power over us is great and gentle, firm and forgiving, holy and healing. Creator Spirit, Yahweh, Adonai, Triune God, Allah. You who created us, who sustain us, who call us to live in peace, hear our prayer this day. Hear our prayer for all who have died, whose hearts and hopes are known to you alone. Hear our prayer for those who put the welfare of others ahead of their own, and give us hearts as generous as theirs. Hear our prayer for those who gave their lives in the service of others, and accept the gift of their sacrifice. Help us to shape and make a world where we will lay down the arms of war and turn our swords into plowshares for a harvest of justice and peace. Comfort those who grieve the loss of their loved ones, and let your healing be the hope in our hearts. Hear our prayer this day, and in your mercy answer us, in the name of all that is holy and all that is good. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Representative Roy, town councilors, town officials, Commander Milo, Commander Carruthers, Parade Marshal Rose Turco, veterans and their families, and members of the Franklin community, thank you for joining us here today to pay tribute to our departed heroes. It is a day to remember the immense sacrifices made by those who served to guarantee our freedom. We are fortunate once again to be joined here today by your state representative, Jeffrey Roy. I'd like to welcome him up to the podium.
Members of the Franklin Town Council, Veterans Agent Shannon Nisbet, and distinguished veterans, members of veteran service organizations, and guests, I'm honored to be with you here this morning. As we gather here today on this solemn occasion, we are reminded of the immense debt of gratitude we owe to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. Memorial Day stands as a poignant reminder of the bravery, selflessness, and unwavering dedication of the men and women who laid down their lives to protect the freedoms we hold dear. Today, we honor the courage of those who faced unimaginable challenges on the battlefield, who stood firm in the face of adversity, and who made the ultimate sacrifice so that we may live in peace and security. We remember their valor, their sacrifice, and their unwavering commitment to duty. But Memorial Day is not just a day of remembrance, it's a day of reflection, a time to contemplate the true cost of freedom and to recommit ourselves to the values for which so many have given their lives. It is a day to honor the legacy of our fallen heroes by striving to build a better world, one marked by justice, equality, and compassion. On June 6, 1944, the first wave of Allied forces swarmed the heavily fortified beaches of German-occupied Normandy, and the invasion known as D-Day began. On that day, more than 4,400 Allied troops were killed, including more than 2,500 Americans. This event, unprecedented in scale, shifted the course of World War II and history itself. As we prepare to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the operation, let us remember that the remaining survivors of the battle and war, some of whom were teenagers at the time, are all now approaching or have surpassed 100 years of age. Their bravery and heroism displayed on the beaches of Normandy is stuff of legend. Their selfless desire to serve and willingness to sacrifice their lives to defend our nation is a debt we can never repay. As we pay tribute to the brave men and women who have gone before us, let us also remember the families they left behind, the spouses, children, parents, and siblings who carry the heavy burden of their absence. Let us offer them our deepest gratitude and support, knowing that their sacrifice is as profound and enduring as that of their loved ones in uniform. I stand here today proud to say that this past week, the House of Representatives in Massachusetts passed the HERO Act. The bill, aptly titled Honoring, Empowering, and Recognizing Our Service Members and Veterans, expands access to supports and benefits for veterans in the Commonwealth. It broadens the definition of a veteran, which will allow more veterans to qualify for Chapter 115 benefits. It increases the disabled veteran annuity by 25%, and it eliminates the additional license plate fee for veterans. These are just a few highlights from one of the most comprehensive veterans bill Massachusetts has seen in recent years. Let's continue to carry forward the legacy of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice and commit to building a nation of strong, resilient communities that does not forget its past. In closing, let us never forget the debt we owe to those who have fallen in defense of liberty. May their courage inspire us, their sacrifice humble us, and their memory live on in our hearts forever. Thank you for being here to honor our patriots. May God bless them, and may God bless you for honoring our patriots every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Representative Roy. At this time, I would like to invite my co-worker, Deborah Martin, up to the podium. She's the Executive Assistant for Franklin Veteran Services, and she has a long-time relationship with today's Parade Marshal, Rose Turco. They've served on many committees together, and worked on the walkway committee. So I think it is fitting to have Deborah introduce Rose.
Today, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our featured speaker, Parade Grand Marshal, Veterans Advocate, and Franklin educator, Rose Turco. Rose Turco is a lifelong resident of Franklin and resides in the family homestead where she was born. A beloved Franklin school teacher for 40 years, Rose received her bachelor's degree from Boston State Teachers College and went on to earn her master's degrees in math and education from Boston College. Rose served as vice principal and chairman of the math department at Franklin High School and was the varsity girls softball coach for many years, but her greatest joy came from classroom teaching, a career she retired from in 1999. Rose has always had an affinity for and great respect for our nation's veterans. Her father, Michael Turco, who immigrated to Franklin from Italy, enlisted in World War I. Rose's uncle, Joseph Turco, as well as several of Rose's cousins, served in World War II. Rose's brother, John, and other extended family members went on to serve during the Korean and Vietnam eras. Over the years, Rose has devoted a great deal of time and energy to projects that honor Franklin's veterans. One of the first projects Rose spearheaded was the Vietnam Veteran Street Sign Project, which pays tribute to Franklin veterans who died while serving in the Vietnam War. This project was very close to Rose's heart because, sadly, several of the 6 Vietnam fallen veterans from Franklin had been students of hers. Rose worked on the Vietnam Veterans Street Sign Project from concept to installation. The Memorial Street Sign Project planted the seeds for the Veterans Memorial Walkway, which was installed and dedicated on Franklin's Town Common in November of 2018. This project pays tribute to all 45 of Franklin's fallen heroes from World War I to present day, with engraved bronze plaques on granite posts that border a brick pathway, which honors U.S. veterans and men and women currently serving our country. Rose was the recipient of the Franklin Elks Post 2136 Distinguished Citizen Award for 2018-2019 for her many contributions to the community. Family members of Franklin's fallen heroes, local veterans, and members of the Franklin community at large are so grateful for the projects that Rose has either launched or taken part in. Her tireless efforts have helped to create lasting tributes to the men and women who selflessly served our country and in some cases made the ultimate sacrifice. And now I'd like to introduce Rose.
It's okay. Thank you. I welcome you all, local, state officials, family, and friends of veterans. We are gathered here on Franklin's Veterans Plaza on this Memorial Day, 2024, to remember and honor those who have served our country, and especially to remember those who sacrificed so much with their very lives in their greatest devotion of duty, protecting our democratic way of life. Therefore, it is most fitting that we take this time to honor all those who have served, and especially those who gave their all with the sacrifice of their lives. We demonstrate our gratitude by paying our profound respect in so many ways, by personal visits to grave sites, placement of flags, organized parades with participation by local veterans, the American Legion, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, as well as several community organizations, the Franklin Elks, the Knights of Columbus, the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Brownies, and Cub Scouts. But most especially with these memorial services here on the local level in Franklin, along with other services across the Commonwealth and our grateful nation. We are reminded of the bravery and dedication of those who gave their lives in service to our country. We will remember. Take the time, not just today, Memorial Day 2024, but time during your daily lives to walk about our town common, noting each of our memorials dedicated to all who have served, from Revolutionary times, the Civil War, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the Iran-Afghanistan War. Our brickway and granite pedestals remind us of the ultimate sacrifice made by Franklin's 45 fallen heroes and the military service of so many others. Franklin has remembered, and it is remembering again by our services today, and rest assured we'll continue to remember going forward. Thank you all for your attendance and participation today at this Memorial Day 2024. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Rose, for all you have done in service of our community. We are so honored to have you here as our Grand Marshal and speaker here today. Let's give her one more round of applause. At this time, I would like to invite American Legion Post 75 Commander John Milo to read the Governor's proclamation.
Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a proclamation. Whereas while the nation was still recovering from the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor the soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country. Renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, is when people remember and honor the memory of all of the men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts residents have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas their legacy for patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all Americans. And whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts residents remember the bravery of those who gave their lives so that their sacrifices served as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore, I, Maura J. Healey, Governor of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 24th, 2024 to be Memorial Day, and urge all residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston this 27th day of May in the year 2024, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 247th.
Thank you, Commander Milo. I'd now like to invite VFW Post 3402 Commander Ernest Carruthers up to the podium, as well as American Legion Post 75, Vice Commander Dick Hines. They're going to talk to you for a moment about the remembrance wreath ceremonies they've been conducting at the walkway.
Good morning to you all. Both Representative Roy and Rose Turco have made reference to the granite monuments that are here around the Veterans Walkway. Rose also made mention of the fact that we need to visit these, we need to speak their names. So probably about 8 months ago now, we got together, and through the grace of Commander Carruthers, who came up with the idea, every month on the date that one of these individuals died, we hold a ceremony at 9 o'clock in the morning. We read their history, we have the chaplain offer a prayer, and taps are played and a salute is given to them. We're not forgetting them. We are repeating their names. You'll notice over here on this side that there is a wreath in front of one of the granite pylons today. And that is for Albert Johnson, a World War I vet. We don't know the actual day he died. It seemed like the right thing to do to honor him today. So just know that between the American Legion and the VFW Post, we are continuing to honor those who gave their life for Franklin. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Commander Hines. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Girl Scout Wreath Team. We have some scouts from Troop 82351. If they could come up with their wreaths. And they're going to join Commander Carruthers. And the first wreath, when they're ready, will be placed on the World War II monument. They will place their second wreath on the Korean War monument. And now I'd like to invite Girl Scouts from Troop 64036 to escort Commander Carruthers to the Vietnam War Monument. And now I would like the next wreath, the Scouts, to escort Commander Carruthers to the World War I monument. And lastly, the last wreath, will you please escort Commander Carruthers to the Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom Monument. Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to invite Commander Milo back up to the podium, along with Commander Carruthers and Marine Corps veteran Don Anderson, who will be reading the honor roll, ringing the watch, and rendering a hand salute. After the last name is read from the honor roll, there will be a rifle salute and playing of taps. Yes.
George Postulus Hantis, Army, World War II. Warren Philip Goodman, Army, World War II. Ike Lenfield Scott, Navy, World War II. Robert R. Catalano, Navy, World War II. Virginia F. Chapin Burns, Navy, World War II. Dominic J. DiMartino, Air Force, Korea. James M. Phelan, Air Force, Korea. James Michael Finley, Air Force, Korea. Joseph Michael O'Keefe, Air Force, Korea. Peter Alfred Milo, Air Force, Korea. Roger A. Rondo, Air Force, Korea. Albert T. Butterfield, Army, Korea. Anthony V. Luzo, Army, Korea. Samuel John Vangel, Army, Korea. Thomas Clifford Seeger, Sr., Army, Korea. Leo Joseph Gallagher, Marine Corps, Korea. Charles Angelo Dellacana, Navy, Korea. James Edward Ryan, Navy, Korea. James F. Waffles, Jr., Navy, Korea. John Joseph Lavoie, Navy, Korea. Joseph D. McManus, Navy, Korea. Milton Rosiel Carey, Navy, Korea. Peter John Wallace, Navy, Korea. Ray Alton Hall, Navy, Korea. Frank P. Caruso, Air Force, Vietnam. John David Pomfret, Air Force, Vietnam. Michael F. O'Toole, Air Force, Vietnam. Rodney A. Perry, Air Force, Vietnam. Dennis J. Shanahan, Army, Vietnam. Paul Wayne Beach Sr., Army, Vietnam. Robert S. Green, Army, Vietnam. Stephen Colberg Miller, Army, Vietnam. James Patrick Conroy, Army, Vietnam. Ronald S. Rogers, Army, Vietnam. Lawrence Paul Badarian, Marine Corps, Vietnam. Donald Leslie Tabor, Navy, Vietnam. John E. Edwards, Navy, Vietnam. Kent Richard Robolsky, Navy, Vietnam. Vincent Albert Brown, Navy, Vietnam. Peter McDermott, Air Force, peacetime. Richard George Melanson, Air Force, peacetime. Alexander J. Bonaccio, Army, peacetime. Alfred F. Preble, Army, peacetime. Clay Marla Stone, Army, peacetime. Joseph Edward Hogan, Army, peacetime. Joseph J. Arrigo, Army, peacetime. Joseph L. Nowacki, Army, peacetime. Mark Vincent Asante, Army, peacetime. Nicholas Louis DeBadges, Army, peacetime. Richard E. Barter, Army, peacetime. Ronald J. Drake, Army, peacetime. William Thomas Power, Army, peacetime. James Allen Hanson, Coast Guard, peacetime. Michael J. Hall, Coast Guard, peacetime. William H. Walsh, Marine Corps, peacetime. Gerald F. McGrath, Navy, peacetime. James Patrick Quinn, Navy, peacetime. Peter George Petulli, Navy, peacetime. And that's it for ringing of the watch.
Thank you for honoring those Franklin heroes who passed since our last Memorial Day. I want to say thank you to our veterans and their families here today and to the local and state officials with us. I'd like to thank Marine Corps veteran Pat Doyle for leading the Pledge of Allegiance, Marine Corps veteran Joe Collins for raising the American flag, and the Reverend Kathy McAdams for leading our invocation. Thank you to Commander John Milo and American Legion Post 75, and Commander Ernest Carruthers and VFW Post 3402 for providing the honor guards and rifle team for the duration of today's parade and ceremony. I'd also like to recognize the honor guards from the Major Travis Bowser and Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School Junior ROTC program, Franklin Elks Lodge 2136, led by Elena Moniz, and the Knights of Columbus Council 1847, headed by Jim Lane today. I wish to thank Rabbi Tom Alpert, Reverend Doreen Otten, and Father Bob Poitras, who participated in the presentation of honors at Dean College, Union Street Cemetery, and St. Mary Cemetery. I'd like to send a huge shout out to our parade committee: Dick Hines, Chair; Ernest Carruthers, Chair; Eric Zimmerman, John Heffley, Bob Marcunis, Frank Coughlin, Judy Hines, Don Anderson, Jim Lane, Patrick Doyle, Lori Doyle, Jerry Brady, Rose Turco, Jan Prentice, Art Bueling, and Deborah Martin. I think we all can agree they did an amazing job coordinating today's parade. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd like to thank our parade marshal, Grand Marshal Rose Turco, and her driver, Joe Landry. Our boots on the ground volunteers, including Navy veteran Mike Drewer, Navy veteran John Strand, Air Force veteran Ron Seifert, as well as Jack Coughlin, Sarah Carroll, John LaCortilia, and Anna Anderson, Aidan Nisbet, and John Yoder. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Eric Zimmerman and the Franklin Police Department for providing a detail so we could gather safely. And a thank you to Firefighter Michael Eaton and the Franklin Fire Department for sending an honor guard and several engines to participate in the parade today. Thank you to our school bands who always make this day very special, including Ms. Leanne Rudsit and the Franklin High School Band, Ms. Nicole Wright and the Horace Mann Middle School Band, Mr. Mickey Ireland and the Remington Middle School Band, Mr. Sean Donnelly and the Annie Sullivan Middle School Band, and Mr. Christopher Heater and the Benjamin Franklin Classical Charter Public School Band. Thank you so much. Thank you to our buglers, Franklin High School students Daniel Campbell and Brady Devlin. This day and this weekend's events would not be possible without the help of our Franklin Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, led by Kristen Bailey, Girl Scouts, Michael O'Neill, Troop 126, Matthew Tucker and Jim Macalas, Troop 99, Nate Batten and Charlotte Tucker, Nate Batten, Troop 29, Charlotte Tucker, Pack 92, and Dan Spigarolo, Troop 92. Not only have they been here all day marching in the parade and helping out with the ceremony, but they came out in impressive numbers on Saturday to replace the cemetery flags, and we're so fortunate to have them. Thank you. I want to thank our parade drivers, Chris Botchis, Rick LaRoe, Jeff Lessica, John Power and Rick Power, and Nick DeRosa. I also want to thank our veteran riders today. I apologize if I leave a few of you off, but Loretta Lopez, Joe Lessica, Tony Gromeski, Ron Field, Frank Mello, Ed Powers, Jack Betts, Ben Teller, Jim Lane, and Cass Kendrick. Thank you all. We are so grateful to have the support of our Franklin Public Works and Facilities departments to make this day run smoothly, along with our fantastic Franklin TV department. They are behind the scenes working hard to make this day special for everyone. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank Paul Vicario for taking photos of today's parade, and the Franklin Garden Club for their beautiful flowers on the common. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my coworker, Deborah Martin, for her heartfelt dedication to our veterans and families in Franklin. Now I would like to invite the Reverend Kathy McAdams back to the podium for our benediction.
Let us pray. May the truth that makes us free, the hope that never dies, and the love that casts out fear lead us forward together till the dayspring breaks and the shadows flee away. Be with those who still serve. Keep them safe. May they be triumphant in their fight for democracy, freedom, and peace. And the peace of God that passes all understanding, that peace which the world can neither give nor take away, abide with you to bless you this day and forevermore. Amen.
This concludes our ceremony. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.